Hey up guys, what's going on and welcome back to York City. These are the past positions for the top 4 right now. Yeah, we went up week 16 and never got any lower than that. Last time we did actually dip a position, by the way. Our opponents were Wimbledon. Yep, that's who we play today. The reason I'm bringing you this is actually Bolton, because at one stage they were 21st. Now they're 2nd and guaranteed promoted, so well done to Bolton on that front. Because there was a period around here where I was sort of highlighting how poor the relegated sides were doing. And if I just try to find them, those are the 4 relegated sides. So somewhere around here, I think, probably about week 11, where I was sort of saying none of the relegated sides have done particularly any good, despite, and in the end, 3 of them still really didn't. But Bolton saved themselves. They have climbed the prediction table, though, as well, which does kind of reflect their end point, I guess, a little bit. Because Bolton, Accrington and Burton are all in sort of this mid-lower area at the start of the season, so they've done some clearly good acquisitions of good development over the course of the season. We slipped to 7th in this. I mean, we're guaranteed first at this point, so hey. But we slipped to 7th in this, and I don't really know how. That's the table on the final day. We are still... In fact, that's what the table looks like as of now. Dan Morgan's on 27 goals. There's a reason for that. I'll show you in a second. Ito on 12. Just a little bit behind here. Nissel's actually on 12 as well, by the way. Player of the match is looking quite good on their front, and average rating is looking quite good as well for York. I'd say, feel a little bit sorry for Bradford. They were in that top 3 for ages, and then they've just decided to stop playing football at the end of this. But yes, they're the only ones that can really change anything on this final day, is Bradford and Coventry. And it would require a 3-goal swing, which is not outside the realms of possibility, of course. So, a 2-0 win and a 1-0 loss. Coventry away at Leyton Orient isn't an easy game. And they've still got to sort out their seedings, at the very least. But Bradford away at Port Vale, who are fighting for their lives. So that won't be an easy game either, in that respect. And speaking of not having easy games, our final game of the season is against a team that we always lose to, 2-1. So I thought... Hang on a second. Ebersbach's gone back a half a star. He was up to 2.5 at one point. What's happened here? Oh well, never mind. We'll keep trying to train him. He'll get there eventually. I'm curious if he's actually any good at winger yet. No. So, on this final day of the season, I'm trying to mix, to the best of my abilities, players who have the best current ability, overall ratings for the season, and match fitness, of course. I would like to go out with a win here at Wimbledon, just to finally put the nail in that particular rivalry, because we will be going up without them next year, so we won't get to face them again. Sorry, did forget, 3-1 Cheltenham, Dan Morgan hat-trick. That's why he's on 27 goals and basically guaranteed golden boot now, so fantastic news for him. So, Shalnan, despite sketchy-ish performances since coming back from... I was about to say coming back from international break. This international break, anyway, the last one. When he got back in February, he was still fine. But this last one, he's not been particularly great since, but we'll stick with him. Manquar, Tavares, Clark. Obviously, last appearance for Manquar, probably. Smith in goal, as ever. Now, Smith is a curious one. He is pretty dang good and probably will stay with us next year. I will give him the benefit of the doubt next year. I think he's probably still good enough for the next level up. In fact, I probably should have put him on his preferred for today. Just, it's the last day. Have a bit of fun. Why not? Go on your preferred. Now, the amusing thing is, Clark's fine as defend, pretty good as an attack. Exactly the same on support as he is on complete. I don't understand that one, if I'm honest. But as a fullback, can't really do defend, but can do attack perfectly. His comfortabilities in positions, I do not understand at all. So, complete, just to match Shao on the other side. I'm going to try and keep that as a backline like that going forward and just get players to play like it, basically. Dean, Nassel, DK, they've been the 3 in the back. Smallwoods, no. I'm going to stick with Dean just because he's still developing, I imagine. At 19, yeah, of course he is. I'll give him the final game and he's played the majority of the season. Nassel, DK, of course, there. Ebersbach and Lee Tao, still going to stick with them. And Morgan up front. So if we say... avenge, please. Please avenge the last one. And if we can do it with 11 men on the pitch, that'd be... I'm still not over the 9 men. Anyway, we'll do it in 3D still, just because I can't be bothered to turn it off. No. We'll keep it in 3D. We'll return to 2D at the start of next year, but it's a celebration still. EFL didn't go particularly well, the trophy, but last episode, with it also being just definitely a one-match episode, I will also turn the highlight speed back down to neutral, I think, just so we can see it all in its proper glory. That said, this is taking forever, so I might turn it back up again. I felt like it was a little bit too fast when I was doing the Cheltenham game, but never mind. Daly, Out to Llewellyn. Well, this is starting well, isn't it? Tavares heads Clearish. Ebersbach will get on the end of that. And hoof it to Morgan, who's... Well, he's there. He has gained the trait around the keeper, by the way, which is going to help going forward. But Lital, never mind. All about him right now. And honestly, if this final game is going to reflect how the season's gone as a whole, I would expect Morgan and Lital to be on that score sheet because they have been our best two players. That's absolutely... I say, Lascelles too, of course. It'd be nice to get him on the score sheet rather than just putting in a good performance, chance creation, assist-wise. But Lital's been bagging them in. We're going to see offside lines, I think, here. Oh, that was actually close. I'm actually genuinely surprised by Lascelles. He's finally come into his potential, I think, a little bit. He was he's offside, but he was always typically one of the best players in the divisions going through the last few years, but he'd never really backed up that with performances. This year, I mean, okay, it's him that's actually headed it in, but yeah, he was offside. But now we actually... What's going on here? Okay, Clark's got the ball from a tackle. He's been tackling... Riley's just tackling everyone, just for fun at this point. Abbott, inwards to Daly. That's gone out wide. I don't like this, and no one's picked him up. The fact that that was in normal speed just made that all the more worse. Not sure if that was English or not, but... Llewellyn. Yeah, it just trundles over to him, really. None of our defenders are actually doing anything remotely like marking. That was literally about 2 minutes after the disallowed goal as well. You'd think they... James Clark's got a tight thigh on the end day of the season. All right, then. Guinness Walker. Thompson. You've literally just seen him do that, except with his head. Why are you not paying attention to that anymore? You literally just saw him do that from an offside position and have it disallowed. Why have you... Just... Who's number 13? Shao, come on. He can't jump in fairness, I just remembered. Just onside as well. I kind of forgot about the fact that Shao can't jump. Oh, he's up to 2. It's not a 1 anymore, everyone. He has a jumping reach of 2 now. That's great. He is twice as good as he was before. It's 100% improvement. It's not like Coventry not losing. Draws at both Coventry and Bradford means nothing's changing there. Aggressively say. Where is your passion, lads? Do you even want to win this match? Because I would like you to win this match. Or at the very least not lose it. 6.3 from Clark, 6.4s all across here. There's 6.4s up front as well. How long before Ebersbach makes way? Oh, there's a highlight. We'll do it after this, I suspect. Adams. Are we going to see this happen again? No. Since Clark dispossesses Adams, I think that's just a match engine thing, really. You just run into him. Riley, Daly. Got a lot of Lee names. Riley, back to Madeline. Guinness Walker does not get intercepted. Great work there from Clark. Just completely abandoning his man to try and do an interception, which he completely failed. He's coming off. Clark's coming off. He's had an absolute shocker. And Genie as well can come on. Be nice if he can actually finally do something. I feel a little bit sad for Gonçalves not being in this first team, to be honest, but benches at the very least. Is this going to end up 2-1, by the way? Still 2-1. We've just... Every game... I don't know what it is about Wimbledon, but we just don't perform. We change literally nothing about our tactics compared to every other team in the division. And yet, against them, we just don't play football. As much as I'd like to maybe bring Illich on for a game, I think Dan Morgan gets the hook. 6.4, we can't be having that. Maybe I should have brought Boom on for what would be his last game ever. Lopez, though, out to Shao on this right-hand side, where he's actually put in the better performances, I think, when he has played. Lee Tao, he smacked that at the goalie. Oh, he's not done well there. I think it's hard-coded into the game. This is genuinely unbelievable. I mean, I'm staying leaned in here, but what? How is this 2-1 every time? I mean, I have to laugh, really. It's genuinely ridiculous. I want to have a look. I don't know how well this actually tracks this, but I'm pretty certain we take the lead every single time. And okay, that one we came back from 2-0. That one was a consolation-ish in the end, but 3 of the 4 games, we actually take the lead. Beckenbottom looking to build upon win. It's the last day of the season, Paul. Solid nearly 28k for winning Sky Bet League 2. It's pathetic money, really, isn't it? Let's be real. If they want to fix if they want to fix like the FA Cup replay and nonsense like that, give proper prize money for the lower divisions. That's how they solve the necessity for replays and what have you in the FA Cup. That's how people will stop having to really push for them, is give proper prize money to this level of football. When Coventry get promoted after 2 years, they bottled it last year. Didn't actually bother checking that. No, I think both Both teams ended up winning, actually, in the end, I think. Yeah. 1-0, which means Port Vale go down. Not that really matters. Just want to bring you the roundup of our loans, actually, because I kind of feel it's sort of important going forward, a little bit in terms of a few players at the very least. Connor Stanley's done very well. He might be around next year as a sort of emergency backup for the wingers. I'm not sure if I might send him back out on loan again. It kind of depends. Not sure if his contract runs out, actually, this window or not. Uncube has done decent out of Stockport. He's played 17 games, which is good. Get him some game time. Tony Sharrock has gone 13 in 40 at Spennymoor. Not bad, but star rating wise, still only 2. Lloyd South has gone further to 2.5. 16 and 38, not bad from him. 7.19. Same with Robertson, actually, 16 and 41. Also on 2.5 star. But considering Lloyd South actually was one of our own prospects, we could keep him around as a backup next year. And actually, crikey, he's developed quite nicely. I mean, physically, sensational. Alright, okay. You've got my attention, Lloyd South, now. Nadarosa, of course, the player that we nipped a couple of years ago from the Premier League reject list. There was one I wanted. He's injured, so they won't let me sign him. It's annoying, but it is what it is. He is not really developed, so we'll see about that one. But yeah, that's about it. Tommy Block, I think we've gone a little bit beyond his capabilities now. Solid, but I think he's already leaving anyway, so goodbye, Tommy Block. I'm not entirely certain what we're training for at this point, by the way. Now, this is actually one report I kind of want to make sure you see. Think Smith would be a leading player for most Sky Bet League 2 sides. Potential could lead to him being a good Sky Bet Championship goalkeeper in the future. Now, that's actually gone up, that potential here. They used to say League 1. So, considering he's leading in League 2, as I've said before, I think he'll be a very solid player next year. Definitely going to give him the chance. Oh, by the way, just in case you've forgotten this, Clark becomes homegrown next year, so the fact that Boom and Dyer have gone, slightly less problematic. I don't know why this has come through right now, because they've not finished the playoffs yet, but okay. Players inducted to the best 11 squad overall. Boomer Romano stay there. Boys is at left back. I don't get that at all. Okay, Clark's at right back. That's good. Who's actually inducted this year? Lee Tao and Dan Morgan. That's literally it. Lee Tao on the right hand side. Bennis is on the left. I mean, best of a bad bunch. Even then, probably should be Kempster. But Daniel Williams, of course, perennial loanee, Nacelle Smallwood, that sort of makes sense. Lopez obviously up front. Ted Smith obviously in goal. I kind of agree with those. I kind of agree with the majority of this, actually. It's just that entire left-hand side. I would probably say Kempster, in terms of importance to the team, should be there. And I would definitely argue that Weistam, at the very least, should be at left-back. Because Boys is awful. Or even Ferguson, really. I mean, Boys is just rubbish. At least Ferguson did something useful at some point. Nacelle, player of the season, fair enough. The fact that Lee Towers edged Dan Morgan, though, I'm just a little bit surprised by signing the season. Dan Morgan, free, of course, released from Liverpool at the end of last year. Brought in as a backup, he's my surprise signing of the season. And ever, really, to be honest. Nacelle, DK's goal of the season. I think I know what that one is. We'll watch it again. I don't know if you even ever saw this one. But DK picks up the ball here and does that. That's not the one I thought it was. He scored 2 in that match. I thought it was the other one. I'm pretty certain his other one was actually like a proper genuine banger. Right then. Work within wage budget. That's fine. Fight bravely against relegation. I think we might be alright. Remain there is the long-term plan, basically. My contract does expire next year, but I think we'll be fine on that one. Oh yeah, sorry, I need to accept it. There we are. End of team season meeting. I'm going to say, oh god, there's so many options. Well done on getting the club promoted. I think we can stay up next year, provided we can make the right additions to the squad. Too ambitious. Well, I sort of sorted it out in the end, but how is staying up too ambitious? That's the bare minimum. Surely that's the bare minimum of ambition. Here we are. Finally announced. They've basically just been planning it for the full year, and now it's actually going to happen. 3 months to complete, so it should be done by the time we actually come back to football, which is good news. Additional funding for the project has been secured was 750 grand. So the total planned cost is actually only 1.5 million, which is great news, actually. So an extra 1,250 seats. Nice. Takes it up to... Actually, that's not as much as I thought it was. I'm pretty certain they were going to try and get it above 9,000. This is going to carry slightly just shy of that. But the good news is, that money's already come out. So that, strictly speaking, is my budget for next year. Ignore the transfer budget on that side. We're not going into debt. I'm trying to avoid that. That's actually going to be our budget. Obviously, if we go into debt over the course of the season, that's not too much of an issue. But that's the balance. And even then, I would like to keep enough that we kind of look at the season's drop as typically being about $1 million-ish for the time being. So, yeah, I'd like to keep us relatively in it. Of course, there's summer we can get some friendlies in and what have you, but we're going to be sensible with the transfer budget. There may be $2 million on the books, but we're not going to spend $2 million. Oh, looks like Yeovil have won the FA Trophy, and Tommy Block gets that for the second time. Actually, no, was he part of our squad when we won it? I don't think he was. I thought Yeovil won it the year afterwards, didn't they? There we are. Well, that's nice for him to get before he leaves for somewhere. Go ahead. Not sure where that is. Aha, so Mansfield are the ones to come up with us. Sort of had a very quiet season. Didn't really speak about them too much. But Mansfield join us in the division above, where they will be reunited with Lincoln. I don't know why the prize money for winning is only 27k when you basically get £500,000 for participating. New highest average rating record. Nice. And most player of the matches for Lee Tao. Very solid season from our players. Now the League One playoff one's here, which is what I'm waiting for before I say anything about who we're going to have. Oh, Nacelle Player of the Year. Well, of course he was. He got the highest average rating in history, apparently. So Morgan, top goal scorer. In the end, 27 in the league. And the Team of the Year is Smith, Tavares, Clark, Lee Tao, DK, Nacelle all there, and Dan Morgan up front. 2 commentary players and a Bolton one. Oh, sorry, there's also a Leighton Orr one. Apologies to that player there. What's impressive about this is, by the way, is DK's just finally learnt English. Okay, 2 new deals worth 600k a year. Now, that's massive, actually. Because that does change the way I approach next year's transfer window. Because that's £600,000 that I wasn't expecting to have. Because we normally have a sort of a net loss of about $1 million-ish. Now, of course, we've had a bit of a uptick thanks to the Ben Godfrey sale this particular year. So if we're going to get £600,000 more per year in general, then that means I can spend basically £600,000 more a year. And he's put in... Well, the chairman's actually covered our debt. I don't know why or what. So actually, now popping back to this finances page, we're up to £2.5 million again, which is after the stadium thing. So really, my transfer budget, if we want to kind of stay about 500,000, maybe $1 million above, just to give us something to play with, my transfer budget is now almost what it actually is in here, in my mind, about $1.5 million if I wanted to use it. Now, the important thing here is Fleetwood have been promoted from 6th, which is amazing, really. Along with Millwall and Charlton, the 4 going down, Colchester, Crawley, Tranmere and Peterborough. We won't be seeing them next year, nor will we see Fleetwood, Charlton or Millwall. But everyone else in this list will be facing off against next year. But obviously along with Coventry, Bolton and Mansfield from our division. And then relegated from here is Lincoln, which I already knew. Barnsley and Oxford have gone down from the Championship. So those 3 will face off against next year. Lincoln, of course, my actual local home side growing up. So nice to have them. And they actually joined Mansfield, as I said, which is a bit of a rivalry. So that's all back. But there's some big teams in here. Ipswich, Portsmouth, Sunderland still here. Rotherham. Some big teams in here. Just still stuck around. I'd probably argue the 3 being relegated. I think they're probably the 3 promoted, actually, as well, at one point. Barnsley, of course, they're perennial between these 2 divisions. But I think next year, looking at this, I mean, I think it was nice to have a sort of stability year the first year in League 2. I think, to be honest, the difference between League 2 and League 1 isn't too great. But considering when we'd gone Vanarama South, Vanarama League 2, we did need a year of just stability just to get an actual League 2 team, at the very least, going. And then with this League 2 team, I think we will be able to compete and stay up, at the very least, as a League 1 side. And then we need to build a side that will be able to survive the Championship, because League 1 to Championship, I think, arguably is one of the biggest jumps in the entire structure. I would possibly even argue that League 1 to Championship is a bigger jump than top-end Championship to Premier League. Now, if you get promoted out of nowhere from the Championship, then yeah, you're going to struggle. But if you've built a team in the Championship, then you can often do quite all right in the Premier League, at very least that first season. You can often survive. Championship, I feel, is a lot harder from League 1 to Championship. It's just a weird bigger gap at that stage. So, all likelihood, 1 season, 2 seasons, maybe even more of stability in League One before you can build a team that can properly compete in the Championship and stay up there. I really worry about being promoted out of this division, most of all, too early. And speaking of that squad, there are some players obviously who are going to do well. DK in the end, 49 appearances, 7.15, without speaking a jot of English. Incredible. But Dan Morgan, Lee Town, Nacelle ahead of him. Of course, they're all had sensational seasons. Stephen Robinson, we've already highlighted, had a great season on loan. Shaw's done well since coming in, whilst actually being here. Considering he came in October, the fact he only made 19 appearances, there's a lot about his international duties. Illich has done well in the appearances he's done. Boom's gone at the end of the season, so never mind. Clark, Goys is out at the end of the season. Tavares on a 7 as well. Looking at the other end, shockingly, there's a few fullbacks down here. Boys played a few in the end. Cavillo barely played. He's gone at the end of the year. Ebersbach didn't really do particularly well, but I am trying to force him to play in a position he's not good at yet, even though he has the stats for it. Suarez, I don't know if he speaks English yet either. Suarez, Genie, not done well particularly. Suarez often off the bench though, so that rating kind of does affect the amount of time he actually plays on the pitch, more than his actual contributions, I'd imagine. Genie though, 34 appearances, 7.63. Left wing's still a problem, which is why I'm trying to force Ebersbach to do it, but we might have to look into left wing still again, maybe sell Genie, I don't know. He does speak English now, we can't even argue that's the reason for his bad performances. It's incredibly frustrating, really, considering Lee Tao has just turned up and done this year. It makes the disparity even more obvious. Lopez obviously didn't appear anywhere near as much, and that's the big surprise this year. Dan Morgan, of course, brought in as a backup. No idea where that came from, but welcome Dan Morgan, I suppose. Richie Dean and Smallwood pretty much interchanged whenever Dean wasn't available. Smallwood stepped in. Very similar ratings from a pretty thankless position, to be honest. Unless you're getting an assist or a goal, you're not really getting a good rating in a defensive ball-winning position all that well. Feistal with 6.91 is far better than most left-backs we've ever had. We'll take 6.91 from a player who's played 43 times at left-back and didn't speak English when he joined. So, might be better that, of course, they're affecting that first half of the season, maybe. Of course, Xiao's done brilliantly. He's now, strictly speaking, our first-choice left-back. We'll just bring that up, by the way. He is actually behind Feistal in the star ratings. Jumper reached 2. I love the fact that it's a big green arrow when it's gone to 2. That potential's still there, that Premier Division potential. He's still only 18, of course. We're going to see big things from him in the long run, I do imagine. If I just bob onto one of the central defenders, it will bring in the central defender point back up again. So next year we do have, of course, Tavares. Romano has signed a new contract for £100 a week. Medina and Okoye, of course, still here. And Uncube, when he comes back from loan, of course. We'll have all of those around next year. At the very least now, of course, if we can bring in a proper first team defender to deal with League One a little bit better, then we might be sending, Medina, Uncube on loan again at the very least, or one of these younger ones anyway, at the very least, out on loan. Just get that development space. Who knows? But goal wise, of course, Dan Morgan, Lee Tao up there, DK, Lopez chipped in with 9 in the appearances he had. He actually had a fairly decent minutes per goal in the end, but nowhere near as good as Dan Morgan. I have no idea where that came from, to be honest. Assist-wise, Lee Town and Cell DK's up there as well. Genie with 8. Actually, he didn't do too badly on the assist front, but goal-wise, nowhere near. Fullbacks chipping in with a few. Not as many as I would like from the fullbacks assist-wise, actually. And I think if I bring you on this screen, it kind of probably the best way for me to sort out next year's thoughts at the very least. Because we do have players on both sides. You have Lee Town back on this side. Strictly speaking, it should be Gonçalves and Genie on this side, but I might give Gonçalves the go next year, first team wise. He's not brilliant, but he is 21 though at this point. So development wise, I do fear we may have waited too long to actually try and play him too much at this point. But midfield wise, I think we're fine. I think Nacelle, DK, Illich, of course, is a solid backup. Suarez as well. I think those 4 will be more than enough for that midfield, unless of course we find a scintillating player or a great loan or whatever, bring them in. I think they will be our first choice, Nacelle and DK at the very least. Considering what DK did without speaking English, I think next year will be even better from him. Although he doesn't actually have that much development space, now I look at it, apparently. Dean, of course, will stay in that DM role. Smallwood as a backup, he is only 2 stars, so he owns his contract, we might consider maybe, but that kind of mental's hard to replace. as a sort of trainer at the very least in terms of mentoring. Right back, Clark probably. Left back, Feistel and Shalnan. Of course, Shalnan can do both sides, which is great. We do have players who can cover right back, but we do lose basically all the actual other backup right backs like Dyer, Goys. They're all gone at the end of the year. So another backup right back could be a good idea. Maybe one who can play both sides like Shalnan. So it gives us that little bit of flexibility. Centre back wise, we just talked about. And goalkeeper wise, I don't really see the need to change any of that unless, again, something scintillating comes by in the same manner as sort of the midfield ideas. Striker wise, of course, Lopez, Dan Morgan, and Robertson, of course, will be back as well next year. So depending on what happens loan wise, I might decide to send someone on loan. I don't know. If I bring someone in, I would maybe like to get someone experienced in that striking position, just to give someone mentoring up front as well. And then maybe send, say, Robertson on loan again, who is 21, actually. The fact that Dan Morgan is 19 as well and putting that kind of performance last year is ridiculous. McFarlane we do lose, of course, but I don't really know. This striking position is going to be interesting next year because, like I say, Robertson is 21, so his development is still ongoing, but he's sort of one of the older ones in terms of development potential. Might send him on loan again, who knows, and then just get in a sort of, say, more experienced player. But bobbing back through the divisions, I did say I would have a quick recap of what went on, and, well, I mean, of course, you look at that first season, and with only one loss in the league, I think it was. 2 losses in the league, sorry. Kidderminster and Chester. Ridiculous season, that first one. Sewed up that title before I even realised it. Panorama, again, we had a ridiculous year in the Panorama. We tore that one apart. Very few losses in there. Filed, in terms of the league, actually, Filed, Yeovil. We did lose to Harrogate in there, of course, a local team. Filed again. We lost to Filed both times, actually. And Barrow in there. Not many losses, though. And then, of course, the consolidation season in League 2 last year. Decent season all round, and we did end up just on the last position outside the playoffs in 8th, I think it is. So, just narrowly missing out. I think this form here in the early season wasn't particularly brilliant. And that's basically what did it. It was a very poor start to the season. Had a pretty rough-ish January, but then again, most of that isn't actually even in the league. And then a kind of patchy March as well. We don't actually tend to end the season particularly well in March. April's did all right this year. We had a very solid patch here at the start of the season, of course. Very good start. Then a big run of draws. Big run of wins in late 2022. A bit of a winning streak, of course, in February as well. Apart from that Grimsby mistake. And then March was a bit patchy again. As was the end of the season. But we made it with 4 points spare. And next year is League 1. So with the right acquisitions, I think we can definitely stay up. Maybe mount a mid-table is probably the dream next year. But like I say, the plan is to stabilise in League 1. I think is probably a sensible thing to do. Because that Championship Challenge is a big, big, big step. So, it's a new journey next time. Until then, ta-ra.